Hey everyone. So in this video today, what we are going to be talking about is how to build an AI agent that recommends products from a database. Now this video comes from a question that one of our customers asked, and what they wanted to build ultimately was exactly this: an agent that recommends products that are stored in a database. The problem they were having though is that the customer had given them an export from their database in a structured format that is called JSON. And so what they thought they could do, which makes logical sense, they thought they could simply take that JSON data and upload it, I think as a file or maybe text, inside our knowledge base. And so what we're gonna do here is understand in this video the knowledge base and its limitations, and then we're going to talk about what is the model. How do you work with an AI and an LLM? Because so many people simply don't understand the core concept of how to work with AI. And I don't mean customers of ours, I mean people across the industry don't understand what the LLMs, the AI, what they're really actually good at and how they should be leveraged. So let's jump into it. Now, inside our Stammer platform, we have the knowledge base concept where you can upload text, you can upload files, you can scrape a website, and you can insert Q&A. All of this is considered a knowledge base. And now that's our platform, but all platforms really are doing the same thing here. What they are doing is taking that data, converting it into text, and then they're uploading it into a vector database where they are most likely performing what's called a semantic search of some kind on that textual data. Now, there are some limitations to this. These document-based kind of knowledge bases, they're only designed for handling text. They're not good for handling structured data like JSON. And that's because this semantic search, it's a great approach for searching documents and returning results that mean similar things. So if I want to look in a document and find strings, which is a collection of words that mean the same thing as I'm looking for a puppy, then it's really good. Semantic search is really good at returning results like I'm looking for a puppy or my friend wants a puppy. But what a semantic search is not great at is doing exact matching of product attributes. LLMs aren't efficient for querying structured data. That's certainly true. The system lacks proper filtering and sorting capabilities like a database would have. It's slow and resource intensive for large product catalogs. Doesn't support numerical operations that are often needed in product recommendations. And it also may introduce inaccuracies when interpreting structured data. And this is exactly the problem our customer was having. They were uploading this JSON data to our knowledge base, and it was seeming to work, but then of course it was hallucinating. It wasn't returning exact results. And so now let's talk about how you actually work with AI, the best approach to use. And what you need to do, you need to understand that the LLM has two jobs really, and it's very good at doing those, but when you ask it to do other things that it's not great at, that's where it falls apart. And so here is the model these days for working with an AI, an LLM, which stands for large language model if you're not familiar. But the AI's job, like I was saying, is to do two key things. Now, it's to handle the conversation. It's the conversational interface. It's what speaks or writes back to the user. But its other job, which this is incredible that these things can do this, but it has the intelligence to know when to call other tools. And if you really, it's interesting, but if you really want to think about how do I build up a mental model for working with these agents, well, you need to think of them as almost like humans. They're great at conversations. They're great at understanding context of conversations, but they are not good at certain things. If you ask me how to do math mentally, I haven't practiced mental math in years. I would be so bad at it. So what do? Well, I pick up a calculator. That's my tool, and I call upon it to do my math for me because it's better at doing that than I am. And that's exactly what these agents need to be used for. So we have our knowledge-based search, which is actually a built-in function in the Stammer platform. In most cases, it is actually a function that the AI agent decides on its own to actually call, and it searches your knowledge base, taking advantage of that built-in semantic search, and then it takes those results, it gets them, we send them to them, and it makes the decision on how to answer your question based on the data it sees in the knowledge base. Another function that we have built in, and we have others as well, but it's not just these, but we have the notify chatbot owner function, which is a new one that's coming out. And that gives the agent behind the scenes the capability to make a function call to notify the owner of the agent that the customer doesn't know that it doesn't know the answer to a question. So the agent is intelligent enough to know, hey, I don't know the answer to this question. And we're going to be creating a video on that. That'll make more sense. But just know that that's another tool that's at the agent's disposal. And then finally, let's talk about custom functions. This is a relatively new feature for the Stammer platform, but you can now build your own custom functions that the agent has access to. And these are tools. You can build tools for the agent to actually use. And as Ross's videos show, this is an incredible functionality. This opens up the AI agents to almost, well, not almost, I mean, literally they can do anything now that you can put behind a custom function. And if you want to know more about that capability, I'm not going to go into a lot of depth here in this video on custom functions, but you can actually see in this document that I'm going to be sharing in the description of this YouTube video, you can see this fantastic video that Ross, my co-founder, put together. He goes into how to build an actual custom function using AI, ChatGPT, I believe, which interestingly, we found that ChatGPT was actually better at building this particular code than Claude was, which is interesting. But he goes into that in depth, and so you can definitely watch that video. But I want you to build up this mental model of this is how you work with AI. They handle the conversations, and it handles all the intelligence of knowing the context of the conversation, so it knows when to call these other functions. Now let's talk quickly about what next steps would be for this use case, a product recommendation database. Well, what this customer will need to do is create a cloud function that actually either queries this customer's database somehow through a private connection. And that may not be possible, right? His own customer may not want to do that. So I do know that customer actually gave him that JSON data dump from their own database. And what he can actually do is write some code that queries that JSON structure. And whenever the user asks for something that requires it to be queried from that data set, then the agent can actually call this cloud function that has been written, and it can actually query it and get the results. And then it tells the user, oh, here's this product for you based on what you said. It'll then have clean access to the URLs, any product IDs, any pricing information. That is how this works. And then what you would do once that cloud function is built, you would then create a Stammer AI agent and create a custom function that teaches that agent how to call this cloud function. Now remember, if all of this is completely over your head, and if this is a simple enough thing, we may be able to assist you in writing the code for this cloud function. Now, no promises there because it can be more complex than you think. But if you are really interested in this and it's too complex for you to write this cloud function, and maybe even too complex for you to create the Stammer AI custom function, then we do have a fantastic dev shop that we work with that we can either possibly you work with them through us, or possibly we just refer you to them, and they are fantastic about understanding requirements. They understand the Stammer platform fully, and so they can help you get this written for a charge, a reasonable charge, of course, but that is an option as well. And the final thing that I want to say is what I've been saying about these custom functions. Building these custom functions, it allows you to actually charge your customers a lot more. And that's because you're providing more value. Let's not forget that. You're able to charge more because you're providing more value. And I would describe these custom functions in Stammer as actually more custom integrations that you're building for your customers. And this is a massive value add. We've had a guy recently who charged a company $15K for a custom integration with his agent. But this is how you can absolutely go from just reselling AI agents that anyone can create to reselling AI agents that really solve business problems. But that is it for this video. Hopefully this makes sense. If not, do not hesitate to ask a question in the comments, or you can join our Discord I'm always there watching and we can answer your questions or open a ticket on the Stammer platform. Thank you very much and have a great day.